Hello, students. Welcome to Music Appreciation here at UACCM. I am Mr. Logan Smith. I'm your instructor for this course. You are enrolled in the summer course, the 8-week version of this class. And the first thing I wanted to do for this class was to introduce myself and to give you kind of a rundown of what to expect in this class, go over the syllabus, go over how the assignments work, how to connect to McGraw-Hill Connect, and all of that stuff that you'll need to know here early on. So as I said, my name is Mr. Logan Smith. I am a graduate of University of Central Arkansas for both my bachelor's and master's degrees. I was a band director for about 10 years before taking this job, and now I teach music appreciation full-time here at UACCM. I teach both online and face-to-face classes, and I also am a director of music for a small church in North Little Rock, Arkansas. And as you can see behind me, I am in my home studio here, and I also play several instruments, guitar and bass and keyboards and synthesizers and all kinds of stuff. And I have a YouTube channel under the name Logan Jacob, where I post videos regarding electronic music, some of my electronic music, and also some collaborations that I've done with some of my friends in the jazz world, along with some classical compositions and just everything that I've done over the last few years. If you go to YouTube and search for Logan Jacob, if you're interested in that kind of stuff, it's certainly not required for this class. You can also find me on Facebook. If you search for Logan Jacob Music, go to fb.me/Logan Jacob Music to find my official page there if you care about that stuff. You can also reach me if you need anything for the class. The best way to reach me is smithlogan@uaccm.edu, and there's a link to that email in Blackboard. You can also find it in the syllabus. So like I said, for this video, I'm going to jump over to sharing my screen on the computer, and we're going to go over all of the stuff that you need to know, all this, the syllabus and the course materials, pages, how to navigate through Blackboard and all of that stuff. I've also posted a video from McGraw-Hill Connect about connecting your McGraw-Hill Connect account to Blackboard. So make sure that you check that out before you go to complete assignments and course materials, because you will need to know that you will have to have your accounts connected to be able to receive credit. All right, so I'm going to jump over to the screen here and share everything with you. I just wanted you to have a face to go with the name, and I look forward to hearing from you guys soon.
Okay, students, so this is what your Blackboard page looks like when you log in and click on our class, which is Music Appreciation Web, and you will either be in section 1, 2, or 3, depending on which web class you are in. So if you need to know what to do on day 1, I've got these instructions right here for you, and it basically just says you can start reading over the syllabus, go into all of that stuff, and then go to course materials and start working on that information. So I'm going to take you through some of this stuff now so that you have an idea of what's going on. So when you click on syllabus, which you can either click right there or you can come over here and hit syllabus, it takes you to this page. And you've probably already been here because that's where the link to this video was. So you should be able to find all this stuff pretty easily. So you have 5 documents here that I want you to look over. Now, they're not long documents and you don't need to like study and memorize every single thing, but you will need to look over them and kind of get an idea of what's going on. So if you click on the syllabus, it's going to download a Word document. And when it opens, now I'm opening it in Pages on my Mac, but this is what the document will look like, so you can find all the information there. I'm not going to go over everything in detail because you can read all that stuff. I'm just going to point out a few important things that you need to know. So first off, it has my information, my name, my office phone number, and my email address. So these are the best ways to get a hold of me. One of the great things that they've implemented this semester, they have updated our phone system, and now you can actually send text messages to my office phone, and I'll get them on my cell phone or in my office, and we'll be able to respond to you. So I am going to set the same policy that I set for my email for those. So either way, whether you text me or email me, generally, I will respond within 48 hours. Usually, it's going to be much faster than that. If it's during the school week, especially during the school day, during business hours, I will email you or text you back within the hour. But if it's on at night, I usually am spending time with my family past about 8 o'clock. So if you text me about 8 o'clock or after, I'm probably not going to respond to you until the next morning. So just be aware of that. You'll have to just wait until office hours the next day for me to be able to respond to you. So feel free to call or text that number. If you need anything, it is my office number. If I don't answer and you call, go ahead and leave a voicemail. Let me know what you need, and I can probably try to get back to you pretty quickly. And of course, email is always a great way to get a hold of me. If you do email me, make sure that you are using your UACCM email address. I'm not allowed to communicate any class information to you if you're using a personal email address. That's just part of our privacy policies and things like that. Also, if you text me or email me, please make sure that you tell me who you are, put your first and last name, and then also let me know which class you're in. I have 7 classes right now that are all full, so that's a little over 200 students. So I don't have memorized who's in what section. So, if you will say, okay, this is so-and-so, and I am in web section 1 or web section 2 or web section 3, whichever one you're in, so that I know how to get a hold of you. Okay, same thing with email. Just put that information in the subject line or somewhere in the email so that I know. It just makes life a lot easier if I need to find a grade or something like that for you. You've got my office hours listed below. You can see those. These are the times that you can get a hold of me, either on the phone or I'm pretty much guaranteed to answer an email that happens during these times, or you can stop by my office. It's always a good idea to check with me first before just stopping by, because sometimes I have meetings or I need to step out for a minute or have advising appointments, stuff like that. So, but you should be able to find me on campus during that time if you need me. All right, scrolling through, you can find all the information about the class. Since you guys are in the web class, I do want to point out the textbook. So it is the brief edition of Roger Kamian's Music and Appreciation, and this is the 10th edition of the brief edition. So you have to make sure it says brief on there, and then make sure that it's the 10th edition. Now, for you all, for the web class, you do have to have this access code, the Connect access. Now, you don't actually have to buy the physical textbook for this class. You can just buy the access code and then log into the class, and it actually has a digital version of the textbook built into it. And you can also open that up on an iPad or something like that and be able to read it. Now, if you would like a physical copy of the textbook itself is not very expensive. The access code is the bulk of the cost. So that's completely up to you. And I'm going to talk more about that access code and how to get logged in to McGraw-Hill Connect in just a few minutes. Okay, but you will have to have the access code for this class if you're in the online version of the class. Okay. The technology requirements, you know all that stuff. You have to have a computer to be able to do this work, obviously. You've got our program learning outcomes and institutional outcomes, all that good stuff there. Important stuff, grading and evaluation. So this is how I am going to grade this semester. And let me zoom in just a little bit so you can see a little better. So you will have a category in Blackboard called assignments. That's where all of your homework and in-class work will live. All of those assignments will add up to 35% of your total grade. And I will drop one homework grade. So if you miss something, I will go ahead and drop that at the end of the semester. All right. Your performance assessments, which I'll talk more about in detail later on, will be worth 20% of your final grade. Each of those is 10% of your final grade. So those are big, important assignments. You have to make sure you do those. They really don't take that long. You just have to make sure you set a time to watch the videos or go to the live performances if you choose to do that. And I'll talk more about that later. The exams, you'll have 6 exams total, and they will total up to 30% of your final grade. And I will drop one of them. So if you do the first 5 and you have A's on all of them, you can actually skip the 6th exam and you don't have to take it. These are exams that are lined up with each part, with each unit, basically, that we're going to go through. So you'll have an exam about every 2 weeks, and you will be required to use the Respondus Lockdown browser with Respondus Monitor to be able to take these tests online. And there's more information about that later on. And our final exam is going to be worth 15% of your total grade. You add all of that up, and that gives us our 100%. Our grading scale is listed here. This is the standard grading scale that you're probably used to, so I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on that. For the exams, you can make up an exam if you miss it. That is up to my discretion to allow you to do that. So you need to send me an email and explain why you missed it, and then I'll decide if you are going to be able to make it up or not. And you can only make it up within 1 week of the original exam date. And you'll actually notice in Blackboard that a week after the exam was due, it's going to disappear from Blackboard. You won't even be able to access it anymore. So you need to make sure that you get those exams made up if you miss one. Okay, so please, if you miss an exam, send me an email. Let me know why you missed it. There's a pretty good chance that I'm going to let you make it up as long as it's within the given time period, and you'll be good to go there. The final exam, I don't have really the decision to let you make up the final exam. That'll actually probably go through the dean, but you can go ahead and email me if you do miss the final exam. And our final exam is a comprehensive final exam, and I will give you a study guide towards the end of the semester that will give you all the stuff. And that study guide is actually a bonus, is some bonus points for you at the end of the semester as well. I'm going to talk about these homework and in-class work assignments here in just a minute, so that's why I skipped over those. Information about Respondus Monitor, all that stuff. For attendance, I do want to talk about attendance because this is an online course. If you've never taken a web class before, what happens for this is that attendance will be recorded on Mondays at 8:30, and I should have updated the syllabus to say that right there. But it should be Mondays at 8:30 is when I'm going to take attendance for this class. So the way that works is you have to have completed something during that last week to be able to be counted for as present for the week. So you have to have at least turned in one homework assignment or taken an exam or contributed to a discussion forum whenever we have those. Otherwise, you will be marked as absent for the week. If you just don't do anything at all that week, you will be marked as absent for the week. And if you have 2 absences, then at that point we will have an administrative withdrawal if you are failing the class. Okay, so be aware of that. If you get 2 absences and you are failing, you will be dropped from the class. Okay, now we will go into a probation period basically where you'll have a chance to appeal that, and once you kind of appeal that, then if we let you back into the class, then you'll be all set. But just be aware that that's how attendance is taken for the class. All right, you've got all the standard stuff that is in all of the syllabi there. The course evaluation dates there, you'll get an email to remind you, so you don't need to worry too much about those. Under the supplemental references, I did put 2 links in there. One of those is to a YouTube channel, which the link that you clicked on to find this video is that YouTube channel. So I would recommend subscribing to it. It's got some information there, old lectures, stuff like that you might be able to find. If you're confused about a certain chapter or something, you can dig through and find previous lectures on those, especially when we were doing synchronous classes. I recorded a lot of my lectures, so you can find that information if you need them. And then this is the link to McGraw-Hill Connect if you are, for some reason, can't get to it through Blackboard. Going back to the syllabus tab, the next document we have is the course outline. And this is what the course outline looks like. It has all of your due dates for the semester. This is a real handy document to have available so that you can quickly look and see each week what is due. Now, I will post an announcements if something changes or whatever, but this should pretty much be what I follow for the entire semester for you guys. All of these assignments are already in Blackboard, and they're designed to deploy every week as we get going. So it's pretty much set at this point. So if you have any questions, let me know. Read through these ahead of time. You'll notice that there's really not that many assignments, but some of them can be a little bit lengthy. The listening assignments will take a little while because you might have 4 or 5 pieces of music that you have to listen to for each listening assignment, and you're listening to 2 or 3 minutes of it and answering 5 questions. So those listening assignments might take you half an hour to an hour to complete. So don't wait until the last minute to complete that stuff. Make sure that you're planning ahead, utilizing the full week to get your assignments done. All of our assignments are due each week on Mondays at 8 a.m. Pretty much everything for the class is due on a Monday at 8 a.m. There are a couple of exceptions, and I've noted those in here. So each week, your assignments for that week will be due the next week at 8 a.m. And then when it's an exam week, which is about every other week, that exam will be due on a Monday at 8 a.m. So you will actually have the previous or the weekend to get that taken care of if you need to. Now in Blackboard, I have each week designed to open the Friday before things for the previous week are due. So for example, week 1 is open to you now. If you can see this, then you can see week 1. And this Friday, I will open up week 2. Even though nothing's due until Monday, week 2 is going to go ahead and open so that you have that weekend to start working through stuff. And then week 3 will open up on the Friday before the 30th so that you can start working ahead a couple of days early. Okay? Now, if there is some kind of special circumstance, you know that you're going to be traveling, during a couple of days or something like that, and you're, or you have a crazy work week, or you're going to have a baby or something like that, and you need access early, just let me know. It's really easy for me to go ahead and open up something early, and I don't have a problem with that. So just let me know if for some reason you need me to open a week early for you to be able to get in and do stuff. If you're willing to do stuff early, then I'm certainly willing to make that available for you. Okay, notice that Performance Assessment 1 is due at the end of week 8, so that is Monday, October 11th at 8 a.m. Performance Assessment 2 is due at the end of the semester, so it is actually due the Monday of our last 2 finals days. So that is due the 13th at 8 a.m. And that's a question on the syllabus assignment that you're going to have to take. So these first 2 practice assignments here I'm going to talk about in just a little bit. All right, your final exam for the semester is due on December 14th, and that is due at noon. All of our final exams for the campus are over at noon on that day. That gives me that afternoon to be able to get all of the grades finished so that I can have them posted by the 15th in the morning, which is when my grades are going to be due. So make sure that you do the final exam by noon on that day. Set that in your calendar, set an alarm, for maybe 10 o'clock in the morning on that morning to make sure that you have taken that exam at that time. You don't want to be late on that. Okay? If you have any questions about this document, let me know. I just wanted to make sure you had seen that because it's a good document to have. Going back to our syllabus folder, the course schedule is fairly similar to the course outline. And here's what that course schedule looks like. And that's basically just a detailed look at what we're studying each week. Okay. It takes you through every single week and tells you what chapters of the book that you're expected to read and where the assignments are. The course outline is probably more useful to most of you, but I do have this document available so you can see exactly where we are for each chapter. Okay. Notice at the bottom here, I do have the final exam dates. These are for my face-to-face classes, so you really don't need to worry about that. Unless you would like to come and take the final exam in person instead of using Respondus. If you would like to do that, you have all 4 of those times available that you can come in during any of my face-to-face class final exam times and take it. You just need to come let me know that you're in the online class so that we make sure that we're on the same page. And if you need to reschedule a different time, just let me know. Shoot me an email. If you want to come to campus, but you need to come in an afternoon or something like that, that's not listed here, then let me know and I'll work something out. Or you can go to the testing center and do your stuff there. I also have the final exam master schedule here so that you can see all of the times for every final exam on campus, no matter when your class is. Assuming it's not a web class, this is when your final exam will be. Now, if it's a web class, just check with your instructor to get those dates and times. The next document in the course, in the syllabus folder is the course expectations. And this is what that document looks like. I actually stole this from Ms. Bradley, the CIS instructor. So I've made a few modifications to it, but it basically just lets you know any information that you might need to know. I'm not going to go over this in detail. I do expect you to read it to be able to find all of the information you need. I've just talked about the contacting your instructor part of it. And then it's got, all your technology requirements, the due dates for everything, and the turning in assignments and all of that good stuff. All that information that you need to know. So please make sure that you check those out. And I will get these dates updated for your class because this is still set for the summer class. And then finally, the performance assessments, guidelines, and instructions. I'm not going to open that and go over it now. There's actually a separate video that talks about the performance assessment guidelines, and you'll be able to find that link and watch that video. I'm not going to go over the performance assessment in this one. So once you go over the syllabus, the next thing that you need to do on this first day of class is come over here to course materials, and you can start working through this stuff. Okay. Now, each week you'll have a new folder pop up that has a week in it, and I'll usually drag it up to the top so that the latest week is on top, just to make life a little bit easier for you. But I do leave everything open throughout the semester so that if you need to go back and check something, you have access to it. Okay. So week 1 is the first thing that you need to open. It's got your instructions for this week and how to do some of these assignments. So I'm going to show you that right now. So your syllabus quiz is your first assignment that is required. You have to have Respondus Lockdown Browser to be able to do that. So once you have reviewed the syllabus and you kind of feel like you have a good idea on the syllabus, then download the Respondus Lockdown Browser by clicking on this link, and then you actually have to open the Respondus Lockdown Browser to be able to access the syllabus quiz. Now, because of the way that Respondus Lockdown Browser works, I can't actually show you that because I can't have my screen recorder program open whenever I do that. So you're going to have to just kind of go with it. If you need help, contact me and I'll kind of take you through that stuff. But for these tests, for all of our exams and for this assignment and for the final exam, you will have to have the Respondus monitor, which is the webcam version of it. So you'll click on that link and it'll take you through the steps of setting up your webcam and all of that good stuff. Now, when it says show ID, you have to show either your student ID or a driver's license or some kind of government ID with your picture on it. Your student ID is the best thing you can do. Just hold that up to the camera, because I do have to confirm that. So if you don't show your ID on there, I can't give you the grade for the test. That's part of our accreditation. So make sure you show your ID and have that available every time you go to take a test. So you'll click on that, it'll take you through the instructions, and then it'll go through a multiple choice test. This first one I think is like 12 or 13 questions. It's pretty short. It's just basically to make sure you know how to get into Respondus and use all of that stuff so that you're ready for our first exam, because it's coming up in just a couple of weeks. This practice assignment is more like our listening assignments, which you'll start taking next week. So when you click on the practice assignment, you're going to have some instructions here. It says download the attached document, answer each question with complete sentences on the attached document, and then upload the document back into the assignment in Blackboard and click submit. So you'll click on the document here where it says practice assignment 1.docx. When you click on that, it downloads. Now I'm on a Mac, so it may look a little different than yours. And then we're going to open that document. Practice assignment 1. Now again, I'm on a Mac and I'm using Pages, so it may work a little different than yours. And I'm going to show you something special that you have to do if you're like me using Pages. So you're going to answer these questions here. You're going to click on this link and listen to a song and tell me about it. You can put, 3 of your favorite songs and the artist that performs them. If you want to include YouTube links, that's great. I do go and listen to them. I like to know what my students are listening to. It's interesting to me. I'm really interested in all kinds of music, pop music, rap, rock, country. I love it all. So, drop your stuff in there for me to check out, because I would love to check it out. Now, you need to answer these questions on this document. So, for example, I like Jimmy Eat World. And I'm just putting one, but you'll need to put multiple. So I'm going to put Jimmy Eat World. For me, this is heaven. I am a child of the 90s, so all of the emo and grunge is fun. So I'll click on that link, listen to it, answer how it makes me feel. So go ahead and type all of your answers here, and then this next step is the most important thing you can do. You have to save the assignment. So whatever you have to do to hit save, Control S or Command S or whatever you need to do, save the document. Because if you don't save it first, it's not going to it's not going to show me the answers when you upload it. It's only going to re-upload the last saved version of the document. So please make sure you save the document. If you are using Pages, it says Pages up there at the top. If you're on a Mac, you might have, and you don't have Microsoft Word, you'll be in Pages, and it's fine for you to do your work in Pages. I have no problem with that. I like Pages. It works very well. But in order for me to open it and grade it in Blackboard, it has to be a .doc or a .pdf file. So you have to go to File and go down here to Export to, and either choose PDF or Word. I recommend PDF just because converting to Word, it sometimes messes with the formatting. With PDF, you know everything's going to be fine. Okay, I don't care about image quality. You can put it on good so it makes it a smaller file size, whatever you need to do. And then just hit Next. Practice assignment 1, it's just going to save it in the downloads. If you have a folder for this class or whatever, that's fine. Wherever you want to save stuff. Hit Export. It's going to save the PDF file. And then, we're in the tunnel. Then we're going to go back over to Blackboard. And when it's time for us to actually submit the document, we're going to hit Browse Local Files. You don't need to write anything in the text submission. You don't need to write anything in the comments. All you have to do is re-upload that file with your answers on it. Okay, so if I go to my Downloads folder, now I should see practice1document.pdf. And when I hit Upload, it sticks it in there. And I'm going to hit Submit. And it's going to spin the wheels. The hamster's going to run for a minute. And now it shows me the file. Always go back and look at this file and make sure it's right. Make sure it's got your answers in there. Whatever you see here is what I'm going to see whenever I open it up to grade it. So if it gives you an error, that error is going to show up on my end and you need to re-upload it. I have most of the assignments I have set up so that you can upload them unlimited time. So if you make a mistake, you can fix it. Or, if you upload it and then realize you forgot to answer a question, you can re-upload it or whatever you need to do. Okay. So if you upload it as a Word document, you need to change it. You can actually re-download it if you need to. If for some reason you delete it or whatever. But once you've confirmed that everything is good, hit OK. And it'll take you back to the beginning. Now, in these listening assignments, I have shown you where they are in the textbook. So every single piece is available in the textbook. So you can actually go to the ebook in McGraw-Hill Connect and you can answer your questions that way. You can look at the information there and see how to do it. And I'm going to show you how to do that in just a second once I show you how to get into McGraw-Hill Connect. Okay, so in this case, there are 2 different pieces with 5 questions apiece. So you'll just answer your questions below in here. You don't have to highlight them or change them a different color or anything like that. I can figure it out. I'm not that worried about it. But again, make sure you save your document. Make sure if you are in Pages, export it as a PDF file, whatever you need to do, and then come back over and browse local files, attach it that way, just like we did for that practice assignment. It all works the same way. The other assignments that you're going to do pretty much every week are the SmartBook assignments. Okay, so if you come down here, your SmartBook assignments, these assignments are going to require you to have access to McGraw-Hill Connect. So this is why you have to buy that access code. So make sure you've bought that access code before you start to do these assignments. You can get a 2-week free trial. So if you know that you're going to buy the code within the next week, you can actually go ahead and sign in and start working on this stuff and then add in your code later. But that's kind of a special case that I'll need to deal with later. So to log into McGraw-Hill Connect, you're going to click on the first assignment here, enter your school email address, and then you'll put in your access code. So when you click on these SmartBook assignments, and again, I've got instructions here, you can follow these bullet points if you want to. I recommend doing this method, which is just to click on the assignment, and it's going to take you where you need to go. Okay, so these SmartBook assignments, all of these are through McGraw-Hill Connect. And this is basically just guided reading. Okay, so you'll click on these assignments. It's going to take you over to McGraw-Hill Connect. Now, I've already logged in and created my account, so that's why it takes me straight here. If I hadn't done that, you would actually be given a screen that'll tell you to put in your email address. So to do that, you'll need to put in your school email address. It'll ask you some questions about creating the profile, making a password, and all that stuff. Do that. And then on the next screen, you'll have a tab that allows you to put in the access code. So you'll need to do that, and then you'll have access to McGraw-Hill Connect. You will need to do that by clicking on this SmartBook assignment. Okay, so the first thing before you ever try to log into McGraw-Hill Connect, go to this SmartBook assignment, click on the link, and then that way it'll link your McGraw-Hill account to our Blackboard page so that all of your grades will transfer over automatically. Okay, now if that doesn't work, if you've already logged into McGraw-Hill Connect and done it that way, I can fix it. Just let me know. I just have to fix it manually. But the easiest thing to do is to click on this and follow the instructions there. Okay. If you have not already purchased the access code, there'll actually be a link there for you to go ahead and buy the access code if you want to do it that way. Okay. So those SmartBook assignments are basically just guided reading. Like I said, when you hit begin, it's going to open up this page, and it's going to have some questions that it's going to ask you about, and or you can just start reading. And when you read, you'll notice that it already has stuff highlighted. So anything that it's going to ask you about, it actually has highlighted already for you. So you can kind of skim over the stuff that's not highlighted. And again, this is a smart version of the textbook, which has all these little videos and stuff, which are super handy. So I recommend watching them. They're all pretty short. They kind of go over all the information to make things a little bit easier for you to do. All right, once you've done the reading, you can hit Start Questions. It'll ask you the questions, and you'll go through there, just like you would like a quiz or something like that. All right, now all the information here is basically what's going to be on the exam. Okay, so nothing too surprising there, and it's all pretty basic information about the content, about each chapter. Okay. If you're done, you can hit exit assignment. It'll take you back to Blackboard. Okay, I want to show you a couple of other things here. So that should be pretty much what you need to get going in the class. I do want to show you a couple of other things in your course to help you kind of get started and get running through. The announcements tab is a very important tab, and I want all of you, while you're watching this video, to go ahead and open up this announcements tab and do this. If you click on announcements, you'll see that there is a Remind 101 feed here as the first announcement. And this announcement will always be on the very top. So I'm going to do all of my announcements through Remind 101 or remind.com so that you have the option of getting those announcements as a text reminder. You don't have to set it up that way, but you do have that option. So if you'll click this Join Class button, it'll ask you for your name. If you want to install the app, you can, or you can put in your phone number so that you will get that information or your email address so that whenever I make an announcement through Remind, you'll get that notification and you'll be able to see it. I also recommend checking back over here every once in a while because there will be some other announcements that show up. So that's a pretty important thing to go through. The grade book. This is where you'll see everything that is due. Every assignment for this class should already be there. You can see how many points it is and how I've got it set up to go through. Now, these exam study guides are not actually for credit, so they're not actually going to go into your grade. But you can look and see, okay, practice assignment 1 is due August 23rd. Did I do that? And it'll have an exclamation point there if I just haven't graded it yet, or it'll tell you what your total is out of the number of points there. These assignments, most of them, the McGraw-Hill Connect SmartBook assignments are all pretty automatic. They grade themselves. But if it looks like you're missing one, if for some reason one doesn't come through, then let me know, and I will make sure that I get that checked out so that you can, so that you're getting the credit for any assignments that are in there. Okay, so check back there pretty regularly. The calendar is pretty handy. It has, anything for the class that's due, it will show up in there. It's not showing up for me in this view, but it will for you. You'll be able to see all the stuff that is due for the class in that calendar section. Okay, and if you need to send me an email, you can click that send email button, and you can email me if you need to. All right, that should be all the important information you need. So I'm going to throw it back over to myself to end this video off. So if you need anything, you know how to get a hold of me, and I hope you have a great semester.
All right, I'm back. So that's all the basic stuff that you need to know for this class. I hope that you found it informative. If you have any questions or you're not sure about something, again, feel free to call me through my office phone number listed in the syllabus, or you can also email me at smithlogan@uaccm.edu. It's great to meet all of you, and I look forward to working with you throughout this course, and I hope to see you soon.